Hello Pokemon fans, I'm Professor K for the Pokemon Evolutionaries, and we have another deck profile here for you. Today's deck profile is going to feature Weavile Lopunny. Now this is a deck that had quite a bit of success in foreign nationals, and definitely was a surprise deck to see there, and like I said, it did quite well. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys my version and see what you guys think of it. Alright, so of course the main attacker is going to be Weavile, so to start off with, we're going to need 4 of this guy right here, Sneasel. I particularly use this one because he has 70 HP, definitely can't get knocked out by 2 turns with a Hypnotoxic Laser and Verbank City Gym. It will survive at least 3 turns that way, so 70 HP is the way to go on this one. And set that right up there. And of course we can't have Weavile without Sneasel, so our next card is going to be Weavile. Weavile's second attack there is what we're focusing around, which is Vilify. Discard as many Pokemon as you like from your hand, and this attack does 30 damage times the number of Pokemon that you discarded. So 30 damage times the number of Pokemon you can discard from your hand. It doesn't sound like such a great strategy because you wouldn't necessarily have a lot of Pokemon in your hand at one time. So we run cards to make sure that that is possible. So there we go, 4/4 Sneasel Weavile. Now to make this work, we have a partner to Weavile. We have 4 of these Baneri here. Doesn't matter which one you use, really. They both have 60 HP, regardless of which one that you use. But we do use 4 Baneri. And the card that makes the difference here, we have 4 Lopunny from Flashfire. There we go, right there. 90 HP, Stage 1 Pokemon with Big Jump. Once during your turn, before you attack, you may return this Pokemon and all cards attached to it to your hand. So, as you can see here, this would work really well with Vilify. As long as you have Lopunny on the bench here, you're able to Big Jump and return Lopunny and Baneri to your hand, making it so that you have 2 Pokemon in your hand now that you can discard. Makes for a decent strategy. To make it even better, we have 4 Execute. Execute's ability, as you can see here, is Propagation. Once during your turn, before you attack, you can take this card, if it is in your discard pile, and put it into your hand. So all you have to do necessarily is get this Execute into the discard pile, and it can just sit there until you need it, and then you can use Propagation to get it back into your hand. So if you've got 4 Execute sitting in your discard pile, you can pick them all up out of the discard pile, and you can Vilify with Weavile for 120 damage. Now factor that in with the fact that we have Lopunny here. If you have 2 Lopunny on the bench, you're picking up 4 more Pokemon. So now 2 Baneri, 2 Lopunny, and 4 Execute. You've got 8 Pokemon. You can hit for 240 damage. You can knock out any Mega Evolution in the game with Vilify, which is for 1 dark and 1 colorless energy. So for 2 energy, you're knocking out a Mega Evolution, or any Pokemon you really want to, with a 90 HP non-EX Pokemon. Very, very cool strategy. I like it quite a lot, and I think that it definitely has a lot of power if you can get it going. Now, some support Pokemon we have here are going to be 2 Sableye. Sableye, we're just going to be using this one for Junk Hunt. Getting back the item cards that we run in this deck. Very good card for that purpose. You can sit there and just keep getting back item cards and making the deck continue to function. So there's 2 of those. And our other support Pokemon is going to be 2 Jirachi EX. The only reason to have this in the deck is to use its ability, Stellar Guidance. Now, when you play this Pokemon from your hand onto your bench, you may search your deck for a supporter card, reveal it, and put it into your hand. Shuffle your deck afterwards. So if you put a Jirachi EX on the bench, you can search your deck for any supporter that you want. Whether it be a Colress, or an N, or a Juniper, you can get any of them. And if you run Skyla by any chance, you can also get a Skyla. It guarantees you a way to get to a supporter. Now all you have to do is just basically say, alright, I've got a Level Ball in my hand, or an Ultra Ball in my hand. I can turn that Level Ball or Ultra Ball into a supporter there, just by using Jirachi EX's ability. It does make it a bit of a target on the bench for Lysander, but in the long run, this deck needs consistency, and consistency can be gotten through Jirachi EX. Now this is a lot of Pokemon, as you can see. We run 24 different Pokemon, well not 24 different, but we run 24 total Pokemon in this deck. But to use Vilify, it is much needed and necessary. So that is our Pokemon lineup here. Very, very heavy and very effective overall. I've used this deck quite a few times and had quite a bit of success with it, especially on the TCG Online. So next we'll take a look at our supporter lineup. Now, this deck does require to get through a lot of cards, so we use 4 Professor Juniper. Best draw support in the game. Discard your hand, draw 7 fresh new cards. Not much more needed to be explained there. 7 new cards at any point is definitely good. Now we also have 2 Colress because we are going to build up a bench at one point, and usually your opponent will build up a bench as well. This is a very good card for that purpose. You could draw up to 10 cards with this, and it's just overall a good draw support card. Now this is where things get a little bit different than what you see in most decks. We only run a single copy of N. Just one. So basically what this is saying is that you're not going to want to necessarily shuffle cards back into your deck because you need to be able to get new cards. So Professor Juniper allows for that. N is more towards the beginning if you have a bad hand, lets you draw 6 fresh cards. That's about it for that one. And we also have a single copy of Lysander because being able to bring up anything off the bench that we want into the active spot is always a good thing, and Lysander guarantees us that ability. Now this is a very, very slim supporter line. Only 8 supporters. But since we have Jirachi over there with our Pokemon, makes it a lot easier because we can draw into the supporters that we need. And as we get into the item lineup here, and the well, we don't have any stadiums actually, but as we get into the item lineup, you'll see a little bit more why it still works. Now first of all, as I was talking about earlier, with Jirachi EX, we can get him out with a Level Ball. Level Ball, search your deck for a Pokemon with 90 HP or less, reveal it, and put it into your hand. Shuffle your deck afterwards. So this allows us to get to the Jirachi, and it also allows us to get Sneasel, Baneri, Weavile, Execute, and Lopunny, and also Sableye as well. So our entire deck is searchable with Level Ball. Every single Pokemon in this deck is less than 90 HP or equal to. So this is the key thing to pulling out our Pokemon when we want them, as soon as we want them. Definitely a very good card in this deck. Now, we do also run 4 copy of Ultra Ball. Why do we have Ultra Ball, you ask? Well, since we do have the access to the Dark Energy, obviously that's all we're going to be using here, as you'll see in a minute, we want to get the Dark Energy into the discard pile. Why do we want the Dark Energy in the discard pile? Well, we have 4 copy of Dark Patch. The thing about Weavile is that it is a 90 HP Pokemon, and having 2 energy needed to necessarily get it to start running is a little bit hard to do because that means we need to survive 1 hit in order to get 2 turns to power up that Weavile. This speeds up the process. If we've got a Sneasel or Weavile on the bench, we can Dark Patch an energy out of the discard pile, attach a basic Dark Energy from your discard pile to one of your Dark Pokemon. Now, you're able to attach for turn and Dark Patch an energy onto Sneasel or Weavile. That way you've got it powered up and ready to go much, much faster. This is the card to make it happen. 4 Dark Patch is a necessity. So going back to what I was saying here, if we Ultra Ball away 2 Dark Energies to get a Pokemon that we need, whether it be Jirachi or Sneasel, Weavile, whatever, you can get anything that you want. Then we can turn around and Dark Patch that energy right back and still be able to attach for turn. Makes it a very quick and good strategy. Now we're going to start getting into how running such a thin supporter line is going to be okay after all. We have a single copy of Random Receiver. You reveal cards from the top of your deck until you reveal a supporter card. Whichever one you reveal, you're kind of stuck with. So if you get the wrong supporter, say you're looking for a draw supporter and you accidentally come into a Lysander, you are stuck with it. That's why we only run 1 copy of Random Receiver. You really want to get Juniper more than anything. But there's that. And to preserve our support lineups, we have 2 copies of Palpad, in which you shuffle 2 supporter cards from your discard pile into your deck. So that way we can just keep our supporter lineup fresh, healthy, and full. Even if we use them, we can put them right back into the deck and keep using them. Very good card. Fits very well into this deck. Now, we're going to be burning through a lot of Pokemon. We're going to be burning up through a lot of Baneri, a lot of Lopunny, a lot of energy, obviously, Sneasel and Weavile. So we run 2 copies of Super Rod. Shuffle 3 of any combination of any basic energy cards or Pokemon, either or, you can do them both together or separately, into your deck. That way, if we start running out of energy, we can get it back in. If we run out of dark patches, just don't draw into them. We can get our energy back into the deck, and any Pokemon that get knocked out, also we can pull up straight from the discard pile, shuffle them into the deck, and be able to redraw back into them. Super Rod works very well in this deck, given that we have such frail Pokemon that are going to get knocked out once we start getting them going. The idea is to start attacking as soon as possible. That way, we don't have to worry about those retaliation hits. Your opponent doesn't have enough time to recover and start attaching energy to fresh attackers. Now, we do have abilities in this deck, so it's very important that we prepare for the match with Garbodor with 2 Startling Megaphone. Discard all Pokemon tool cards attached to each of your opponent's Pokemon. Very good for that. Also very good to eliminate any of those magic number muscle bands. Don't have to worry about Silver Bangle in this deck. We can get rid of float stones for people who needed to retreat. Things like that. Gets us out of different situations. Very good card to use for that purpose. Now the A-Spec in this deck is definitely an interesting one. We run Scoop Up Cyclone. Put 1 of your Pokemon and all cards attached to it into your hand. If we don't have Baneri evolved into Lopunny, or if we want to get Sableye up off the bench, or Jirachi up onto the bench, and we want to use Vilify, because obviously Jirachi is going to be sitting there doing absolutely nothing for you once you get your supporter. It allows you to pick it up, put it into your hand, and you can then use it as fuel for Vilify. Very good card for that purpose as well. Definitely allows to get you that extra damage if you need it. And yeah, I mean, if you can't big jump and you have no other options, you can at least get that Jirachi, that nice big 2-prize target that's sitting on your bench, get it up off the bench into your hand, and Vilify. So there's our A-Spec for the deck. And finally, the last thing that we have here is going to be 3, 6, 8 Dark Energy. We don't need a whole lot of energy in this deck. Weavile is our only attacker, and it only requires 2 energy per attack. And with Dark Patch being able to recycle those energy, 8 Dark Energy is more than enough for this deck. Alright guys, that's going to be it for Weavile Lopunny with Execute. Definitely makes an improvement. We used to see Weavile just run with Execute, and it worked fairly well. Never to the point where you would see it in competitive play, but you will start seeing Weavile Lopunny gain some popularity, I'm sure, before too long. It is just too powerful and too fast for it to get completely ignored. So that's going to be it for today's deck profile on Weavile Lopunny. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you're new to the channel. If you enjoy our content, please let us know. And yes, that's going to be about it. So until next time, I'm Professor K for the Pokemon Evolutionaries.